The wheelbarrow scraped against broken asphalt as Kesi pushed through Lagos afternoon traffic. Sweat dripped down her back, mixing with dust from the metal scraps piled high in front of her. Car horns blared. Okada riders weaved between vehicles. The familiar chaos of Oshodi Junction surrounded her like a second skin. She'd made this route every Tuesday for 18 months, collecting discarded alternators, brake pads, engine parts that mechanics threw away. One person's trash was her treasure. The BMW pulled up beside her at the traffic light. Kesi glanced over and her stomach dropped. Tunde sat behind the wheel, air conditioning blowing his shirt collar. His passenger leaned forward, pointing directly at Kesi through the tinted window. "Oh my God, is that her?" Amara's voice carried through the glass. "The one with the wheelbarrow business?" Tunde's jaw tightened. He stared straight ahead, pretending not to see. But Amara wasn't finished. "Baby, look at her!" Still pushing that thing around like some... She dissolved into laughter. High-pitched giggles that cut through engine noise and street vendors shouting. Kesi's fingers gripped the wheelbarrow handles until her knuckles went white. The light stayed red. Traffic pressed in from all sides. Nowhere to run. "I can't believe you dated her," Amara continued, loud enough for half the intersection to hear. "What were you thinking? A woman who pushes scrap metal around Lagos?" More laughter. Cruel and sharp. Kesi's face burned. The metal handles felt slippery in her sweating palms. A Danfo bus honked behind them. Passengers hung out the windows, watching the scene unfold like free entertainment. Tunde finally turned his head. Their eyes met through the glass. For 1 second, something flickered across his face. Guilt, maybe. Or recognition of the woman he used to know. Then Amara grabbed his arm, pulling his attention back to her phone screen. "I have to post this," she announced, raising her camera. "My followers will die. Look at the contrast." The phone pointed at Kesi like a weapon. "Don't," Tunde muttered quietly. But Amara was already recording, narrating to her camera about different life choices and staying motivated while the wheelbarrow sat in the background. The traffic light turned green. Cars lurched forward. The BMW's engine purred as it accelerated past. Kesi stood frozen in the intersection, watching their taillights disappear into the distance. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out with shaking hands, still gripping the wheelbarrow with one arm. "Oh, Kesi?" Chidi's voice crackled through the speaker. "The Acacia client just confirmed. They want 50 more vehicles for the rental fleet." She stared at the phone. The words felt like they came from another planet. "Kesi, you there?" "I'm here." "That brings us to 200 cars total. We'll need the new warehouse space by next month." A truck rumbled past, belching black smoke. The wheelbarrow's metal scraped against concrete as she started moving again. "A boss? This is good news. Why, you sound strange." Kesi reached the sidewalk and stopped. Pedestrians flowed around her like water around a rock. "Chidi." "Yes?" "I'm done hiding what we built." Silence on the other end. "You sure about that?" "We agreed to keep things quiet until..." "I'm sure." Her voice came out flat and cold. The same tone she used when firing unreliable suppliers. "What happened?" Kesi watched the BMW's taillights fade into the distance. Somewhere in that car, Amara was probably editing her video, adding captions about motivation and success mindset. Nothing happened. Everything's fine. "Kesi, set up the press conference for Friday. Baobab Auto Services goes public. But we're not ready for that kind of attention. The expansion isn't complete. The new branding isn't..." "Friday, Chidi." She hung up and shoved the phone back into her pocket. The wheelbarrow felt heavier now. Each step toward the scrapyard required more effort than before. But her mind was already racing ahead, to the warehouse full of rental cars, to the mechanics on her payroll, to the contracts worth millions of naira that bore her signature, to the look on Tunde's face when he realized exactly what kind of business his ex-girlfriend had been building. An Okada rider swerved around her, shouting something about blocking the path. Kesi didn't hear him. She was too busy calculating how many reporters she could get to Friday's announcement, and whether any of them would be interested in a story about the woman who turned a wheelbarrow into an empire. The metal handles bit into her palms as she pushed forward through the crowd. By Friday, everyone would know her name. 18 months earlier, Kesi had stood in this same spot outside Tunde's apartment building. Rain pounded the concrete around her feet. "You're being reckless," Tunde declared from the doorway. His shirt was wrinkled, glasses fogged from the humidity. I'm being smart. Kesi held up the business plan she'd printed at a cyber cafe. Pages already damp from the downpour. Look at these numbers. Numbers on paper don't pay rent. Neither does playing it safe forever. Tunde stepped back into the hallway. She followed, water dripping from her clothes onto his clean floor. My mother needs her medication, Kesi. Every month. No exceptions. I know that. Do you? Because this plan of yours, he gestured at the soggy papers. Auto parts trading? With what capital? What happens when you lose everything? What happens when we never try? The argument had circled for hours. The same words, the same positions, neither one willing to bend. I can't do this anymore, Tunde finally whispered, his voice barely audible above the rain. The business or us? Both. Kesi had walked out into the storm without another word. Now she pushed the wheelbarrow past that same apartment building. Tunde had moved out months ago, but muscle memory still made her glance up at the third-floor window. The scrapyard sat wedged between a generator repair shop and a woman selling roasted plantain. Kesi maneuvered through the narrow entrance, metal scraping against the gate. Auntie Kesi? A boy ran toward her, bare feet splashing through oil-stained puddles. I found something good today. Emeka held up a car battery, terminals corroded but casing intact. How much? She asked. 500 naira. 300. 400 final. She handed him the money and added the battery to her collection. Emeka grinned and ran back toward the street, already hunting for the next treasure. This was how it started. One battery, one alternator, one brake pad at a time. Chidi emerged from the workshop, wiping grease off his hands with a rag that had seen better days. The Camry parts came in, he announced. Customers picking up tomorrow. Good. What about the Honda transmission? Still waiting on the seal kit. They'd met here 6 months after the breakup. Chidi had been trying to rebuild an engine with mismatched parts, cursing in Igbo at every bolt that wouldn't turn. Kesi had watched him struggle for 20 minutes before walking over. You need a different gasket, she'd observed. You know engines? My father taught me. She'd helped him source the right part. He'd split the repair fee with her. A partnership was born over shared frustration and mutual respect. Now they stood in front of a proper workshop. Tools organized on pegboards. Inventory tracked in ledgers. 3 mechanics on the payroll. The rental business is moving faster than expected, Chidi reported. We have a waiting list. How long? 2 weeks for economy cars. 1 month for SUVs. Kesi nodded, calculating in her head. More demand meant higher prices. Higher prices meant faster expansion. Her phone buzzed. Text message from an unknown number. Saw your girl today. Still pushing that wheelbarrow. Some things never change. Her thumb hovered over the reply button. Chidi peered over her shoulder. Who's that? Nobody important. She deleted the message without responding. Boss, you sure about this press conference? We could wait another 6 months. Get everything perfect first. Perfect is the enemy of profitable. Your father teach you that too? No, I learned that one myself. A customer pulled up in a dented Corolla, engine knocking like someone hammering metal. Chidi walked over to diagnose the problem. Kesi climbed the stairs to the office above the workshop. Concrete walls, metal desk, filing cabinets stuffed with receipts and contracts. She pulled out the folder marked expansion plans and spread the papers across her desk. 12 rental locations across Lagos. Fleet of 200 vehicles. Revenue projections that made her pulse quicken. On paper, she was already successful. In reality, she still slept on a mattress on the floor and ate rice and stew for dinner most nights. But the numbers didn't lie. Baobab Auto Services was growing faster than she dared to hope. Her phone rang. Chidi's voice echoed from downstairs. Kesi, come down here. Now. She took the stairs 2 at a time. A woman stood next to the broken Corolla, phone in her hand, recording everything. Designer clothes, perfect makeup, smile that looked practiced. This is amazing content, the woman declared to her camera. A real automotive business run by a woman. My followers are going to love this story. Kesi's blood turned to ice. It was Amara. I'm documenting female entrepreneurs, Amara continued, still filming. This place is so authentic. So grassroots? Chidi shot Kesi a warning look. We're closed, Kesi stated. Oh, but I just need a few minutes. For my platform. I have over 50,000 followers. We're closed. Amara lowered her phone, confusion flickering across her face. I'm sorry, do we know each other? You look familiar. Kesi's hands clenched into fists at her sides. No, we don't know each other. Are you sure? Because I swear I've seen you somewhere. The recognition hit like lightning. Amara's eyes widened, her mouth forming a perfect circle of surprise. Oh my God, you're the Wheelbarrow woman. Amara's phone stayed pointed at Kesi like a loaded weapon. The camera lens reflected the workshop's fluorescent lights. This is incredible, Amara whispered. The woman with the wheelbarrow owns this place. Chidi stepped between them. Madam, please leave. But this is a story. My followers need to see this transformation. From street vendor to business owner. I'm not a street vendor, Kesi replied through gritted teeth. Right, sorry. From wheelbarrow operator to entrepreneur. Even better angle. Amara raised the phone higher, trying to get a better shot over Chidi's shoulder. The contrast is amazing. I mean, just this morning you were pushing scrap metal and now... Now what? Now you're here, in this workshop. The way she pronounced workshop made it sound like a disease. Kesi walked toward the office stairs. Chidi, handle the customer's car. I have calls to make. Wait, Amara followed. Can we do a quick interview? 5 minutes. I'll tag your business. Free publicity. No. But think about the exposure. 50,000 followers. Kesi stopped on the third step. What kind of followers? Young women. Ambitious. Looking for inspiration. Inspiration to do what? To, overcome obstacles. Rise above circumstances. The words hung in the air like smoke from a bad engine. My circumstances are fine, Kesi declared. She climbed the rest of the stairs and slammed the office door. Across town, Tunde stared at his computer screen. The loan application glowed in front of him. Numbers swimming together after 8 hours of reviewing credit reports. Baobab Auto Services, fleet expansion. 2 million naira requested. He'd seen dozens of similar applications this month. Small businesses trying to grow too fast. Entrepreneurs with big dreams and thin margins. This one looked different. The financial projections were conservative. The business plan was detailed. The collateral was solid. His supervisor walked past his desk. That auto rental application giving you trouble? No, sir. Just being thorough. Good. We need more clients like that. Real businesses, not these get-rich-quick schemes. Tunde scrolled through the documents again. The company had been operating for 18 months. Steady growth. No missed payments on existing loans. The owner's name was listed as K. Okafor. He approved the application with 2 clicks. Amara sat in her car outside the workshop, editing footage on her phone. The video was perfect. Authentic location, compelling narrative, unexpected twist. Her follower count had been dropping for weeks. Lifestyle content wasn't performing like it used to. People wanted substance now, not just pretty pictures. This story could change everything. She started typing the caption. You never know what someone is building behind the scenes. This morning I saw a woman with a wheelbarrow. Tonight I discovered she owns an entire automotive business. Never judge by appearances. Her finger hovered over the post button. Something nagged at her. The woman's face when she'd mentioned Tunde earlier. The way she'd gone rigid when the camera came out. Amara scrolled through her photos from the traffic light incident. Zoomed in on the wheelbarrow woman's face. Then she opened her camera roll from the workshop visit. Same person, same angry expression. But in the workshop she'd carried herself differently. Confident. In charge. Amara deleted the caption and started over. Kesi spread the rental contracts across her desk. 50 new vehicles arriving next week. Insurance policies to update. Drivers to hire. Her phone buzzed with a text from the bank. Loan approved. Funds available tomorrow. 2 million naira. Enough to double her fleet size. She leaned back in her chair and allowed herself one moment of satisfaction. 18 months ago, Tunde had called her reckless. Claimed she'd lose everything chasing impossible dreams. Now his own bank was financing her expansion. The irony tasted sweeter than she'd expected. Footsteps on the stairs interrupted her thoughts. Chidi appeared in the doorway, grease still under his fingernails. The influencer girl left, he reported. Good. But she was asking questions. About how long we've been here. About you specifically. What kind of questions? Like she knows you from somewhere. Kesi's stomach tightened. She doesn't know me. You sure about that? Because she seemed very interested in your story. My story isn't for sale. Chidi sat down across from her desk. Boss, maybe it's time to tell me what's really going on. Nothing's going on. You've been different since this morning. Angry. Pushing too hard. I'm always pushing hard. Not like this. This feels personal. Kesi gathered the contracts into a neat pile. The press conference is Friday. Are you ready or not? I'm ready. Question is whether you are. What's that supposed to mean? Means once we go public, there's no hiding anymore. Everyone will know who you are, including people you might not want to see. Her phone lit up with a notification. Instagram tag from Amara's account. The video was already live. 47 comments and climbing. Kesi's face filled the screen, caught mid-sentence saying, "My circumstances are fine." The caption read, "Plot twist. The wheelbarrow woman is actually a boss. But why is she hiding it?" Chidi, Kesi muttered, her voice deadly quiet. Yes? Change of plans. We're not waiting until Friday. What do you mean? Call every reporter you know. Call the radio stations. Call the newspapers. When do you want to schedule? Tomorrow. We're announcing tomorrow. Chidi's eyes widened. Boss, that's not enough time to... Tomorrow, Chidi. Before she decides to dig any deeper. Her phone buzzed again. Another notification. The video had been shared 50 times in the past 10 minutes. One of the shares came from an account she recognized. Tunde had reposted Amara's video with his own caption, "Some people never stop surprising you." The next morning, Tunde sat in his office reviewing loan files when his phone exploded with notifications. WhatsApp messages, Instagram tags, missed calls from numbers he didn't recognize. He opened the first message from his colleague. "Bro, isn't this your ex? The one with the car business?" A news link followed. Lagos Business Daily headline, Baobab Auto Services announces major expansion. Tunde's coffee mug slipped from his fingers. Brown liquid spread across his desk, soaking into the loan documents underneath. The article featured a photo of Kesi standing in front of a warehouse filled with cars. Dozens of them. Toyotas, Hondas, even a few Mercedes. Local entrepreneur Kesi Okafor announced plans to expand her auto rental empire across Lagos. The article began, starting with a single wheelbarrow operation 18 months ago. His hand shook as he scrolled down. Baobab Auto Services currently operates a fleet of 200 vehicles and employs 47 people across 12 locations. 200 vehicles. Tunde grabbed his computer mouse and clicked frantically through the bank's loan database. Baobab Auto Services, K. Okafor. 2 million naira approved yesterday. By him. He'd financed his ex-girlfriend's business expansion without knowing it. Amara stared at her phone screen in her tiny apartment. The video she'd posted yesterday now had over 10,000 views. Comments poured in faster than she could read them. This woman is goals. From wheelbarrow to CEO? Inspiration. Why was she hiding her success, though? That last comment bothered her most. Why had Kesi been so secretive? Amara clicked on the news article that everyone was sharing. Read about the expansion plans, the employee count, the revenue projections. Her stomach dropped. This wasn't just a small workshop. This was a multi-million naira operation. And she'd treated Kesi like a charity case yesterday. Her phone rang. Tunde's name flashed on the screen. "Did you see the news?" he demanded without greeting. "I'm looking at it now." "That's her. That's Kesi. I know. I was at her workshop yesterday, remember?" Silence on the other end. "Tunde, you were where?" "Her workshop. I told you. I was making content about female entrepreneurs." "You didn't tell me it was Kesi's workshop." "I didn't know you knew her." More silence. Amara could hear papers shuffling in the background. "Tunde, what's wrong?" "I approved her loan. Yesterday. 2 million naira. So? So I had no idea it was her company. The application just said K. Okafor." Amara sat down hard on her bed. "You financed your ex-girlfriend's business." "By accident." "There are no accidents like that." "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means maybe you should figure out why you're still so connected to her life." She hung up before he could respond. Kesi stood in the main warehouse watching mechanics prep cars for delivery. The news coverage had brought in 12 new rental requests since morning. Chidi walked over with a tablet full of messages. Radio Lagos wants an interview this afternoon, he announced. TVC is sending a camera crew at 3, and someone from Business Day wants to do a feature story. Good. Boss, you sure about all this attention? Yesterday you wanted to stay quiet. Yesterday was different. What changed? Kesi pointed at her phone, which hadn't stopped buzzing since dawn. She changed it. The video from Amara's account kept getting shared. Each repost brought more questions, more scrutiny. Better to control the narrative than let others write it for her. The BMW rental customer is here, one of her mechanics called out. A woman in designer clothes approached the service counter. Kesi recognized her immediately. Amara. I'd like to rent a car, Amara told the clerk. Something reliable. How long do you need it? A week. Maybe longer. The clerk pulled up the rental system on his computer. We have a Camry available. 3,000 naira per day. That's fine. Kesi watched from across the warehouse. Amara's hands trembled as she filled out the paperwork. Ma'am, we need a deposit, the clerk mentioned. How much? 10,000 naira. Amara opened her purse and counted out crumpled bills. Twice, then a third time. I only have 8,000, she admitted quietly. Sorry, we can't process without the full deposit. Amara's shoulders sagged. She started putting the money back in her purse. Actually, Kesi interjected, walking over, we have a special rate for content creators. Both Amara and the clerk looked surprised. 2,000 naira per day, 5,000 deposit. Amara stared at her. Why would you do that? Business is business. But yesterday you were doing your job. Today I'm doing mine. Amara handed over the 5,000 naira. The clerk processed the rental agreement and gave her the keys to a silver Camry. Thank you, Amara said. Don't thank me. Just drive carefully. Amara walked toward the exit, then stopped. The video I posted. Do you want me to take it down? No, leave it up. Why? Because it's good advertising. Amara nodded and continued toward the door. Amara, she turned back. Your boyfriend knows about this place now, doesn't he? How did you... He approved my loan yesterday. Zenith Community Bank. Senior credit analyst. Amara's face went pale. Tell him I said thank you for the financing. The warehouse door swung shut behind Amara, leaving her standing in the parking lot with car keys in her shaking hand. Inside, Kesi's phone rang. Unknown number. Baobab Auto Services, this is Kesi. Kesi, it's me. Tunde's voice. After 18 months of silence, I need to see you. Meet me at the warehouse, Kesi declared into the phone. 1 hour. She hung up before Tunde could respond. Chidi looked up from the inventory sheets he was checking. You sure about this? No, but it's happening anyway. Want me to stay? No. Take the afternoon off. Spend time with Adana and the kids. Boss, go home, Chidi. He gathered his papers and headed for the exit, glancing back once before disappearing into the Lagos heat. Kesi walked through the warehouse, straightening tools that didn't need straightening, checking cars that had already been inspected twice. Her phone buzzed. Text from Amara. He's on his way. I'm sorry about everything. Kesi deleted the message without replying. Tunde's hands gripped the steering wheel as he navigated through Ikeja traffic. The same route he'd driven to work for 3 years, but everything looked different now. Street vendors hawking phone cards, mechanics working under broken-down buses, women carrying goods on their heads. He'd always seen it as chaos. Background noise to endure between air-conditioned spaces. Now he wondered what businesses were hiding behind the disorder, what empires were being built while he filed loan applications in his climate-controlled office. The Baobab Auto Services sign appeared ahead, professional lettering on a clean white background, nothing like the makeshift workshops that surrounded it. He parked outside and sat in his car for 5 minutes, engine running. Through the glass doors, he could see rows of vehicles, a proper reception area, uniformed staff moving with purpose. This wasn't the reckless gamble he'd imagined 18 months ago. This was success. The warehouse felt too quiet without the usual noise of mechanics and customers. Kesi stood between 2 rows of cars, arms crossed, waiting. Footsteps echoed off the concrete floor. Tunde appeared in the doorway, still wearing his bank uniform. Pressed shirt, polished shoes, ID badge hanging from his neck. Hello, Kesi? Tunde. They stared at each other across 20 feet of empty space. Nice place, he offered finally. Thanks. How many cars? 200. Soon to be 300. He nodded slowly, taking in the scope of what she'd built. I approved your loan yesterday. I know. Did you know it was my bank when you applied? No. I found out later. How? Your girlfriend posted a video. You shared it. Your bank details are on your profile. Tunde's jaw tightened. She's not my girlfriend anymore. Since when? Since this morning. Since I realized I've been lying to myself for 18 months. Kesi walked to the nearest car and ran her hand along its hood. About what? About why I really broke up with you. You broke up with me because I was taking risks you couldn't handle. No. I broke up with you because you were going to succeed, and I was terrified of being left behind. The words hung in the air between them. You were always smarter than me, Tunde continued. Always saw opportunities I missed. I told myself I was being responsible, but really I was just scared. Scared of what? Of you outgrowing me. Of becoming someone I couldn't keep up with. Kesi stopped touching the car and faced him directly. So you left first. So I left first. They stood in silence, the weight of 18 months pressing down on both of them. I was angry for a long time, Kesi admitted. Are you still? Sometimes. What about now? She considered the question. Now I'm tired. Of being angry? Of caring what you think. The words hit him like a physical blow. His shoulders sagged. I deserved that. You deserved worse. Probably. Another silence. Longer this time. The business is impressive, Tunde observed. You were right about everything. Being right doesn't fix what happened. I know. And success doesn't erase the hurt. I know that too. Kesi walked to her office stairs and sat down on the bottom step. Why did you really come here, Tunde? To apologize. For what specifically? For not believing in you. For choosing fear over love. For letting you build this empire alone. I wasn't alone. I had Chidi. I had people who believed in what I was doing. But not me. No, not you. Tunde moved closer but stopped several feet away, respecting the distance she'd created. Is there any chance? No? The word came out flat and final. I'm not the same person you left, Kesi continued. And you're not the person I needed you to be. I could change. You already did. You chose stability over partnership, security over trust. That's who you are. People can grow. Some people. Sometimes. But not us. Not now. Tunde's phone buzzed in his pocket. He ignored it. What about the loan? Do you want me to transfer it to another officer? No. Keep it professional. You approved it based on merit. The business relationship can continue. And the personal relationship? Ended 18 months ago. Today just made it official. The warehouse door opened. Amara stepped inside, car keys in her hand. I'm returning the rental, she announced quietly. I can't afford it after all. She stopped when she saw Tunde. Oh, you're both here. Perfect timing, Kesi declared, standing up. I have a proposition. Both Tunde and Amara looked confused. Amara, you need steady income. I need someone who understands social media marketing. What are you saying? I'm offering you a job. Content manager for Baobab Auto Services. 40,000 naira per month plus commission on new customers you bring in through your platforms. Amara's mouth fell open. Why would you do that? Because you're good at what you do. And because spite is bad for business. Tunde stepped forward. Kesi, you don't have to. This has nothing to do with you. She turned back to Amara. Do you want the job or not? Amara looked between Kesi and Tunde, then back at Kesi. Yes, I want the job. Good. Start Monday. Kesi walked toward the exit, leaving them both standing in the warehouse. Where are you going? Tunde called after her. Back to work. I have an empire to run. The door swung shut behind her. Outside, her phone was ringing. Another interview request. Another opportunity to tell her story on her own terms. She answered the call and kept walking, leaving the past behind in a warehouse full of cars she'd earned with her own hands.